We're now joined by the head coach of the SEC Western Division champion LSU Tigers, Coach Ed Orgeron. Again, we'll ask Coach to make an opening statement, and then we'll take your questions. Coach?
Thank you. What a great event. This is the standard of performance that you must achieve when you come to LSU. Obviously, it's a big game, a lot of respect for Kirby. I think he's an outstanding coach. He has an outstanding football team. This is going to be a big challenge for our team tomorrow, but we're ready to go. It'll be a great atmosphere for the LSU Tigers.
All right, thank you, Coach. If you have a question, Mariana or Kelly will get a microphone to you. We'll start right here and right in front of me in the second row.
Hey, Coach. Jacques Doucet, WAFB-TV, Baton Rouge. Coach, I was thinking the last time LSU was in Atlanta was SEC Media Days 2018. You were picked 5th in the West. A lot of 6-6 predictions. Since then, you've been 22-3 and 2 great seasons. This one a really good season. So, just speak of what you've accomplished since then and proving the doubters wrong.
Well, and again, it's not about me. It's about being at LSU. It's about getting the right pieces together, continue to recruit well, get great coaches. I think I have the best assistant coaching staff that I've been around. We wanted to go to the spread, but you know what? We had the quarterback to do it in Joe Burrow, and then Joe Brady comes along, and everything fell into place.
Okay, we're going to go straight in front of me along this near aisle. Coach?
Coach Jamarcus Fitzpatrick with KLB in Alexandria. How do you guys particularly plan on stopping the 3-4 defense that Georgia runs?
Yeah, well, obviously we got to play our offense, and we got to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. They're very athletic. They get 11 hats to the football. Just like other games, we're going to have to figure out what they're doing. Sometimes they do what we've seen on film. Sometimes they do something completely new. But I know our coaches will figure it out. It's going to be a great battle.
Okay, we'll go right here right to our right, Coach. Here on the front row. We'll get a microphone to you.
Coach, you said this year that Murray Poole, Bulldog Illustrated, you said this year that Clyde Edwards, Hilaire is probably as good a running back as any in the country. And I think Joe Burrow said it on the teleconference Monday, too. What makes him such a special back?
His heart. When Clyde walks in the room, Clyde is 6'4", 270. And it's just his persona about himself, his confidence. I do believe he's gotten better as the year goes by. I think that he's able to catch the ball out the backfield. He's an all-purpose back. He can make you miss, run around you, very fast. I just think his heart and his courage says a lot about the young man.
Okay, we'll go over here on the left, second row.
James Rand with the American Press. Ed, what is similar or different about this Georgia defense to some of the other kind of elite groups you guys have played against this year?
Great defensive lines. Well, first of all, great coach. Kirby's a great defensive coach. They play solid, fundamental football. They're hard to run the football because their guys get so fast to the football. They're great tacklers in space, and they put tremendous pressure on the passer. We're going to have to protect Joe to get the ball downfield.
Okay, we'll go over to our right on the third row on the aisle.
Brandon Sudge, Macon Telegraph. So on Georgia's end, so how'd you look at DeAndre Swift and the talents that he possesses? Are there things that are similar to Edwards Hilaire, and what are some things that stand out about DeAndre Swift?
I think there's things that are similar. He runs the outside zone. The stretch play is about as good as anybody in the country. The guy's obviously fast. I do believe that their scheme is different, so they probably have the same talents, the same skills, but their scheme is a little bit different than ours. He's a more downhill runner. He'll start in the pistol, run downhill, put his foot in the grass, and run over you or run around you. So I think that the scheme makes them a little bit different players, but obviously I think they possess similar skills.
Okay, we'll go right here in front of me on the third row, Coach.
Coach Matt Trent, WBRZ in Baton Rouge. Georgia plays a neutral site game every year with Florida. Are we reading too much into it that gives them the advantage tomorrow?
No, I don't believe so. And I do believe, we have a great crowd. I do believe our guys are prepared. We treat like this as a away game. We have had crowd noise all week. I think that when you see, I've never been to the game, but I think that when you see tomorrow, it'll be electric on both sides. I talked to Commissioner Sankey. He told me it's the loudest game that he's ever been in because there's always cheering on both sides. So I think it's great.
Okay, we'll stay over here on this left side, about 5 rows back.
Brooks Austin, Sports Illustrated's Bulldog Maven. Coach, what does it mean for you to be here in Atlanta representing your home state of Louisiana?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, grew up watching LSU. When I got hired, I said I knew this was the standard, and we wanted to get there. It took us 3 years to get here. I do believe that you can see the process down the road. There was a couple of good decisions, a couple of decisions that wasn't so good. But thankfully, they gave me the time to get it right, and I feel like we're on the right track right now. So hopefully this is just the beginning. Obviously, we have a great quarterback in Joe Burrow. We're going to have to find a great quarterback for the future. I do believe I have the right coaching staff in place. I think most of the pieces in place to have a successful run.
Coach, we'll go over to our right, third row in the middle.
Dan Matthews, Dog Time, and 6A The Fan here in Atlanta. I hope I don't misquote you in a story I read a few years ago where when you knew that you weren't going to get the job at USC, you told your wife, it's the worst day of my life. I mean, now what you know about where you're at in your career, I mean, could you have even imagined that this was possible on that plane?
You know, thank you for saying that. I didn't, she did. And she said, God has a better plan. And I looked at it, I said, it better be good. And she was right. And everything happened for the reason. I'm thankful for the interim job that I got at USC. It made me a better coach. I'm thankful for the chance of the interim job at LSU. It got a chance for me to prove that I could be the head coach at LSU. And now, everything had to fall in the right place. I know I wasn't the first choice or maybe the second choice, but it doesn't matter how you get here in life. It matters when you're here, do something with it.
Coach, we'll go over here to our left on the aisle.
Brandon Adams from Dog Nation. How is your team's preparation impacted by the fact that you don't fully know how healthy DeAndre Swift's going to be for this game with a shoulder injury?
We plan for him to play. And just like other great players that we play, I'm assuming that this guy is a great competitor, and I'm assuming that he's going to play. We haven't even blinked. Obviously, we looked at the second team back, the third team back. They've got about 5 tailbacks there that could be first-round draft choices. They've done a tremendous job of recruiting. So we prepared for everything, but I'm almost sure he's going to play in, and he's going to play well.
Coach, we'll go over to our right, in the middle there.
Seth Emerson with The Athletic. Ed, this pass-happy, pass-heavy offense, how much of it was a reaction to the talent you all recruited, and how much of it was this is the direction that college football is going?
A combination of both. Obviously, we have 3 great receivers, in my opinion, and even more than that, some younger guys. But it all started with getting Joe Burrow, getting that quarterback that can run the spread offense. Steve Ensminger has been phenomenal. I think that he's the unsung hero of the whole deal. He was open to going to the spread offense, open to hiring the young guy, Joe Brady. We had a lot of respect for Joe. We had done some research on him, and everything has just fallen into place. It took a lot of guys working together. Put your ego aside. Let's do what's best for LSU, and it got done.
Coach will go in front of me here towards the back of the room.
Hi, Coach. Nicole Hutchison with KOB in Alexandria. Georgia's top wide receiver, George Pickens, is out for the first half this Saturday. I mean, do you think that has an effect on you all? Is that a relief for you all since they're missing a key asset on their offense?
Well, first of all, I recruited George, and I know his mama, so I'm so glad that he's such a great player. I thought that I really liked him. I thought he'd be an outstanding player. Obviously, Georgia has had #1 recruiting classes. They have guys behind them. We use the term next man up. Put 11 men on the field and we fight like tigers, and I'm sure they're going to have the same plan.
Okay, we're going to go right here in the front row. Brooks.
Hey, Ed Brooks from The Advocate. I mean, you guys practiced early yesterday, got here yesterday. How have you prepared them mentally for this moment so far?
I think it's worked out well. We did as much work that we can do over in Baton Rouge. Usually we travel on Friday, but I had to be here today, and I was not going to let the team travel today and me not be with them. So one team, one heartbeat, we travel together. The guys got to the hotel last night, and we had a tremendous meal. Man, we had smothered pork chops, fried chicken, collard greens. Man, the guys loved it. Just like one big family eating together. And they went to bed at 11 o'clock, didn't have to wake up till noon today, so I'm sure they rested. We're going to have the same routine that we do in Baton Rouge. We're going to have a heartbeat meeting at 3 o'clock. We're going to have our meetings. We'll have a walkthrough in Mercedes-Benz Stadium and have our meetings tonight.
Coach, we'll go over on the right, 3/4 of the way back.
Henry Queen, the red and black. This is the third year in a row Georgia's been here. How much does that play an advantage for them, and how much does it say about Kirby Smart's program?
Well, first of all, a lot of respect for Kirby and what he's done. I recruited against him. I've known him for a long time. I enjoyed watching him play. He was a tough football player. And when we do go to coaches' meetings, he's very cordial to me. We talk, we laugh, we joke. So he's done a tremendous job. And Georgia's a great program and a great state to recruit. It's indicative of his coaching and his recruiting. His third time being here. Is it going to be an advantage? I'm sure it's going to give them some confidence. But you know what? As a football team, it's never about the other team. It's always going to be about playing at the LSU standard performance, regardless of where we play and who we play.
All right, Coach, we'll go down here to the second row right in front of us.
Coach, I'm sure you know fans have talked maybe more about beating Alabama than winning an SEC championship in previous years. But now that your team has done that, beaten Auburn, Florida, these tough games, how much do you sense they're ready to finish the job in terms of winning this?
Yeah,
conference?
this team is focused. This team has goals. And this is what I'm more. We never talked about anything else. Obviously, beating Alabama was huge, going undefeated 12-0. But to win the SEC championship is a goal of this football team. They're very focused. They work very hard for this.
Okay, Coach, we'll go over to our right in the back of the room.
Coach Alan Blinder from the New York Times. This game has long been a showcase for the conference's Heisman contenders. How have you been helping Joe work through any of the individual pressure he might be feeling, given all of the buzz around him?
Joe and I are very close. I don't have to say much to Joe. I'll give you an example. Derek Panansky, who does a tremendous job for us, told me last night that Joe's mom and daddy was calling for him, and he wouldn't answer the phone, want to know what's going on. Well, Joe's phone broke. And the mom and dad said, we're going to get you one. He said, I don't need a phone. I got a game to play this week. So that goes to show you the focus, the leadership of that young man on what he's done. So I think he's fine. He wants to win, and that's his biggest attribute.
Okay, we'll go over here on the left. Yeah.
Yeah, Brooks Austin with Sports Illustrated's Bulldog Maven. Coach, I spoke to Jacoby Stevens earlier in the week about you kind of being a player's coach. How important is it to you as a head coach to instill an energy level to your football team?
Well, I think everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and I coach from within the staff. I don't coach from above. It's never going to be about me. I want to give them all the energy I have, and I'm an energetic coach. So I think that, in recruiting, I develop relationships with these young men. We talk about things in my office that we're going to get done, and we follow through it. Let me say something about Jacoby. He's an outstanding young man. He's an outstanding football player. I'm very proud of his leadership.
Okay, Coach, we'll go over here to our right here in front of us.
Ed, Jeff Sintel, Dog Nation. I mean, it takes elite recruiting to get to this game. When you look across Georgia's roster, is there one area, I know you're a defensive line guy and you see Georgia's O-line, is there one area that just jumps out at you that says those are where all the players are at?
Well, the offensive line is there's 5 guys there that's going to play in the NFL. Thomas is going to be, I was talking to a scout the other day, Thomas is going to be a top 5 pick. And those guys are big and they're huge and they're road graders and they're very athletic and they're very well coached. So the line of scrimmage in the SEC is different than other conferences. I think that's where you start now. You add the speed, you add the intelligence to throw them, and you add the tenacity they have on defense makes them a great team.
All right, we'll go right here in the front.
Anthony Dasher, UGAsports.com. And when you look at Georgia and their overall physicality, just kind of what kind of jumps out at you, kind of where do they stack up to the rest of the teams you played this year?
Yeah, this is the most physical team we played. And I think this is the most complete team on both line of scrimmages, on offensive line and defensive line. They like to hit. They play fast. The running back hits the hole, can make you miss. Quarterback makes some great decisions. But it all starts with their defense. They're only giving up 10 points per game. That's very stingy.
All right, we have time for some more questions. If you've got a question, we've got a couple more up front here. We'll start here on the second row.
Coach, you're a defensive coach. Obviously, there's always a sentiment that a great defense will beat a great offense, or pitching, a pitcher can beat great hitting. But is that oversimplifying it? And how do you? I mean, a lot of people are just going to look at it as Georgia's defense versus your offense.
Well, I look at it opposite. we got to play great on defense. We got to play great on defense to win. And I feel like our offense is going to do well. Now, how many points we're going to score, nothing like that, I don't know that. Against a great defense, but we have to stop their offense in order to win the football game.
All right, we'll go back here in the front. You have a question, Brooks?
Kirby talked about the offense you guys have, and it's not exactly a complicated scheme you run. It's just the chess pieces that you have. How would you evaluate the chess pieces you have on offense?
Well, I feel like it all starts with the offensive line. Like I said before, Lloyd Cushenberry has been the leader there. James Craig has been the MVP. We've played with second-team tackles, first-team tackles, guys rotating in and out. They're going to have to protect. This is a good blitzing team. It's a good four-man rush team. So I think that's where it starts. And then when you look at Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger, the plays that they call, get them in the right defenses against the right coverages, and then the playmaking ability of our skill players, receivers and running backs are some of the best in the country.
Okay, we've got another question back here on our left.
Kind of a follow-up, Coach O, on you coaching at your home state. How much of an advantage is it for you in recruiting when you go into, homes there in Louisiana where there's a lot of talent and you can kind of relate?
I think it's a big advantage, and I enjoy recruiting in Louisiana. I'm going to be in about 18 to 22 homes next week, so that means about 18 to 22 gumbos. So this is going to be great, but it's kind of a party when I get there. It's kind of a festivity. It's other schools I have to go recruit, talk to their mom and daddy, bring everybody. But when I go now, it's the aunts, the uncles, the grandmas. They have a party. We eat, we laugh, we joke together. It's just like being a part of a big family.
Coach, we'll go over here to our left. Scott.
Scott Rabelais with the Baton Rouge Advocate. And you talked about, over the course of the season, about the decision to go to the spread. You felt it was the way to go, but it was a gamble. I mean, were there ever times when you're like, because you're changing the culture of your offense? I mean, was there ever a time when you're wondering if this was going to work?
After the spring, I felt good about where we're going. And Steve and I and Joe have always had constant communication of what we want to run, how we want to look like. And I'll tell you this now, Joe Brady has brought a lot of confidence in his ability to install this spread offense with Steve Ensminger. We don't have any 12 personnel. We don't have a fullback, 21 personnel. In some ways, that was hard to let go. The thing I didn't want to let go was the physicality of LSU. I still wanted to run the football and be physical, and they've done that. So I can't complain about anything that the offense has done. I think those guys have been phenomenal.
Okay, if we have time for a couple more, if anybody has a couple of questions. If not, we'll let Coach go. We've got one right here in front, 3 rows back.
Coach Kirby was talking about the leadership qualities that Jake Fromm has. He shoulders a lot of the blame, yet he can still give out credit. It's kind of a selfless leadership, selfless servantship type deal. Can you compare and contrast? Because it sounds a lot like Joe Burrow.
Yeah. To give you an example, we had some recruits on a spring visit. I don't recall what day it was, and it was Saturday. And they asked me, said, Coach, can the recruits go watch the players practice? They're not practicing today. Said, oh, yes, they are. They had a player-only practice on Saturday morning in the spring. And he had many of those practices, along with other leaders on the team. These guys are very committed. Joe's a silent leader. Joe won't scream. Joe won't holler. But he does things by example. When things are not right, he'll step up and challenge guys. He is a fierce competitor. He is very focused. He's mature, ahead of his years. He brings a lot to our football team.
All right, we've got another question here on the aisle right in front of me, 3/4 of the way back.
Coach, you've talked about the offensive line a lot, with Lloyd Cushenberry being right there in the middle. Do you think that if the offensive line protects Joe and is able to open up some running lanes for Clyde, do you think that that's the key to victory?
No question. No question. Offensive line has got to block their front and their linebacker, who's very fast. We can't have negative plays, sacks, fumbles, and stuff like that, and those guys are very capable of doing that. We're +6 in the turnover ratio. We want to be +3 every game, and this is going to be a big game for us, taking care of the football and getting the football back for offense.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Go Tigers.
Commissioner Greg Sankey will be here in just a few moments. As soon as we shift the room, we'll be back with you.